What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to Week 9's episode of Lane by Lane. We are closing out, the regular split for the LCS Summer Split. But before we get to the games, we have something to settle between these three gentlemen here. Phreak, Azael, and Mean Mr. Kien is joining us here for an episode of Lane by Lane. We got a whole bunch of questions coming your way. As you know, the points are completely arbitrary, but we all like to win here.
But in the end, I win.
So let's dive right in. If you guys, what?
In the end, I win.
You win?
That's
in the end,
the rule.
Phreak
In the
wins.
end, I always win.
That's usually how it works. In the end, Phreak wins. Okay, first question.
You know
Let's
what,
get right
Nash?
into
You
it.
look great today. I just thought I'd say that really quick.
You know what? A quick little pick me up in the morning, Azael. Thank you very much. Now, who is the most underrated player in the league?
It's obviously Blabber. Like the answer's so obvious. Yeah, it's got to be Blabber. And the reason why
the person everyone talks about for being the MVP
he is not. Here's the reason why is he is not rated as the best North American player of all time. That means he is underrated. All right, like this man came in as a rookie, has like the highest
2-5 in the second
games
half
anyone's ever seen. He is the reason Cloud9 had like a 23-2 run in games. And then suddenly, everyone else is just falling to pieces around him. He's still himself. People are like, oh, okay, you know what? Blabber can only play Olaf. He's a one-trick. Like, if you get stop getting the champion, I mean, Cloud9's garbage. No. Blabber does need at least players to play around him to be playing to his level to some degree. But, I mean, he brought in the winningest team of all time. He's maybe the best player of all time. And, look, just needs a little bit of supporting staff. And people are like, Blabber's fallen off when he's still the same player.
How underrated can you be when you were the MVP? Like,
yes.
He already got the highest award of the league. That's not underrated. You can't go up from there. That's the best thing we can give you. He won the championship. He got the MVP. If you want to talk about an actual underrated player, Hall of Fame does not exist, Phreak. If you want to talk about an actual underrated player right now, someone who's been getting a lot of credit, but his partner hasn't, I think FBI has been incredible. But what about Huhi? The bot lane 2v2, FBI has talked so much, even in his interview last week, about his laning phase being so dominant. He has, massive CSD. He's been crushing in the league and getting a lot of credit for that. But people are overlooking the duo lane partner. It is not done by yourself. I think Huhi has been fantastic on the set. He can play the mages. His Morgana was great. He's forcing out summoners by himself in a lot of these games, and that's someone that I think has this kind of negative stigma around him from his time at the end playing mid lane for CLG. He has actually been able to reinvent himself as a support player, and I think he's been incredible at it, and I've been really impressed with him.
All right, Kien, get in here. Who are you thinking is the most underrated player in the league?
I'm going to go with a support as well. I think support, first of all, support is the most underrated role, period. I think a lot of people still have this mentality of support being you just lock in, you watch your AD carry farm. But in pro play especially, there's so much you have to do in terms of roaming, warden, etc. And so for me, it's Ignar on FlyQuest, who does get a lot of credit for being a strong support player, but to me, he is the single most important piece on FlyQuest. If you look at them when they were on their losing streak in the middle of the split, he wasn't playing very well. He was kind of feeding a lot, and I think a lot of people were kind of looking for Power Revo and Santorin to really carry the load on that team, and that's the two that they're always talking about. But as soon as Ignar started picking up, he's been crushing it the last few weeks a lot. Like, he's so good on engages and making plays for the team. He is the engine that makes that team run. Power Revo and Santorin, very consistent players. They'll always play a similar type of style, but Ignar, if he pops off, FlyQuest could be the best team in the league.
Well, there you have it. Through question one, Azael's in the lead, 800 points. Very solid, healthy lead for him. Kien in second with 500. Phreak miraculously has made it back to even somehow.
Yeah.
Through one question. Well done, sir. Some real fighting attitude. All right, next up, which team has been the most disappointing this split?
I would love to take this one. I would actually say Cloud9. I think that, it sounds harsh, but let's remember how hyped we were for Cloud9 in spring, going into MSI. This is the team that I would say since 2016, TSM going into Worlds, this was the most excited North American fans have been about sending a team internationally. People have been so hyped, and you're waiting all year long, crushed spring split, 9-0 first half, and now where are you? You're 2-5. They are looking, not even close to the level they've been playing at in the past. I am so disappointed because I was genuinely excited to see this team play internationally, and now I don't even know, if they're going to be able to hold up in the North American playoffs. We'll see if they can actually turn things around and fix it. But right now, I'm incredibly disappointed with how Cloud9 are playing.
Azael,
right now, I agree
the top of the table.
I agree that Cloud9 is very disappointing right now, but they were not disappointing for the entire. It's only been the last few weeks that they've been disappointing. They were extremely exciting to watch at the beginning of this half. And for me, the team that has just been disappointing from the get-go is Immortals, who started from the when Smithy wasn't in the starting lineup, and then a couple weeks in, they just replaced their entire roster week after week, and something new would happen that would just make me shake my head, ruffle my hair. Like they had 2-3 losses where Aphelios would just come out and 1v9 them in the base gates. Well, I mean, you could ruffle your cheeks right.
Hey, that's how you know Kien is feeling. That's how you know Kien's pissed. If he's ruffling his hair, I'll get out of his way. Things are about to go down.
My hair has been growing. The longer my hair is, the more disappointment I have for teams in the LCS. Immortals being right up there. Every single week there's a new thing that happens. Yeah, because there are teams where I'm like, I expect them to be a CLG. I expect to be bad, but Immortals come in every now and then. They'll give you glimpses of, this team looks like they could be good. Smithy, Apollo, they should win a few games. And then we're always talking about how they look solid. And then you look at the record, and they're still 4-12. Just disappointment after disappointment.
Because they're toying with you. They're playing with your heart. Freak, who are you thinking for most disappointing this split?
Well, okay. First things first. I didn't want to monopolize all the time. Obviously, the best answer is Blabber's team in Cloud9, but I think there's a really good case to be made for CLG here. Azael, good job. Yeah, no, good job. Azael, good job. I mean, you're picking the right answer. The answer always has to include Blabber.
I appreciate
Lane by lane works. But CLG haven't disappointed. And a lot of this is and it's not because of their records, not because they're about to go 4-14 and then 4-15 and lose tiebreakers to Dignitas. It's because the org of CLG are making choices that I cannot possibly comprehend as rational decision making. You just played a new top laner, and he won you a game. The only game CLG have won in their last 12 is their other top laner who is just not getting played anymore. Like, you just won a game over EG. You won a game over playoff team. Deus was in there. Play him. What does CLG do in week 9 when they need it most? Who do they bench? Belter. They bench their best player. Like, I can understand if you want to come forward and say, look, we want to build for the future. We really believe in Tuesday. I don't know where he was last 2 years in your starting roster, but sure, whatever. Do something that makes sense. At least tell me why you're doing these things. Come on, CLG.
Freak. Well, just say it. CLG's coaching staff has done nothing intelligently proactive for the last 12 weeks.
Oh my God.
Okay, fast. 12 months though.
What, Freak? I tell you what, I could answer the question for you. They took Pobelter down to Academy. They're clearly trying for Academy playoffs since they realized that LCS playoffs is out of the realm of possibility.
It's the 2019 C9 strat.
FlyQuest Academy. Woo, so brutal. I love it. All right, question number 3 for the day. Which roster swap or non-swap was the most questionable this split? So an actual swap that occurred or something you would have liked to have seen that didn't happen.
I literally just answered it. It's CLG
you know what?
not
Let's
keeping
save the time, Freak. Let's save the time. I'll time you out. I give you like 500 points. Because I know what your answer is going to be, and we'll let one of those two go. Yeah,
I'm going to start with.
Well answered.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm going to start with the same team, with Immortals again. Like I mentioned, they've had a few games where it was like 50-50 loss where they easily could have won, and I felt like the one player in the league, and especially last split and over his entire career, that makes a big difference in these close games is Soaz, who is extremely good when the map goes into chaos. He's very good at going to the side lanes and just creating chaos and finding ways into the enemy base to put his team in advantageous situations when the game has lost all sense of structure. And Immortals have been in a lot of games that have absolutely no structure, where I feel for you guys casting on the desk, it's like, you guys have to say something intelligent about this game. And I'm watching it like, oh, wow, whatever is coming out of your mouth right now is incredible, because you guys this is some, what you really want to say is this is all bullshit. But what happens is IMT has ended up losing a few of these games, and if you add two one win, 2 wins, and they're suddenly in the thick of the playoff picture. And I think Soaz would have been the kind of guy to give them those wins. So it's been really strange for me to see them pivot over to this academy roster and then not rotate and mix up the rosters at all. And I think Soaz is the biggest piece. He was their big acquisition over the offseason, and he's just sitting in an academy, which I agree is very important. But I do feel like perhaps they could have pulled him up into the LCS, and he would have given them another win or 2 wins. And that's all you need to beat CLG to make playoffs. You don't need to go. You don't need 8 wins. You need 5 wins to be in the playoff picture right now. And I think Soaz would have done that for them.
All right,
for me, I mean, it's another top lane thing. It's actually the fact that Dignitas put Viper back in after seeing Lorlo, and Lorlo was actually playing great. Lorlo got them 2 of their wins in a handful of games that he actually played. Viper, I think, it just feels like a known quantity. I understand that he's really good in scrims and that his peaks I think are very, very high. But the fact of the matter is we haven't seen him really perform at a super high level on anything except Riven, and Riven is very situational at best. It's not going to be the champion that you're going to be able to pick every single time and actually get wins. Lorlo was coming out here and having good performances on meta champions, things like Ornn and Volibear and Mordekaiser that you can play every single week and actually start to kind of progress here. I just don't understand why some of these teams are. It just feels like insanity. You're just repeating the same thing and expecting a different result, right? I just don't really get why we're seeing Viper again.
Can you repeat that Riven thing for all?
So I'm gonna have to give Kien some more points for you supporting his point around Immortals and being incorrect on that one. But Kien, what were you?
If you could repeat that Riven thing. Yeah, if you could repeat that Riven thing for all my solo queue,
all the time.
Yeah, for all my solo queue top laners, just louder for all the Rivens in the back.
Riven's the best champion in the game. Pick it in every matchup.
No, don't listen to him.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Well, one more question until we hit a quick little break here.
Okay.
Which player? I'm really curious what you guys have for this one. Which player has been the best, second best? So like a Bangi to Faker, second best player on the team. Who in the LCS has been the best, second best? Who wants it?
I'm actually gonna. Ooh man, I'm gonna go FBI. And I know it's really close. Like in my mind, I was thinking Huhi for a second there as well. Credit to Azael for picking that one up for an underrated player. But like people for so long have been saying, "Wow, it's the closer show. It's the closer show. This guy's gonna 1v9 and drag Golden Guardians to playoffs." But FBI is legitimately a top 2 performing AD carry. If you're looking at players with nameplates, FBI is probably the number 2 AD carry this split, behind a couple of world champions and stuff like that. Like this man is absolutely awesome. He's putting in work in lane. He's putting in work in team fights. They're relying on him for like damage output. And so he is there. And it kind of feels bad because Bangi has been like complained about as just getting carried over the line, but he was always there for the championships. FBI is actively part of the reason why this team wins. Like he out Bangi's Bangi, and the fact that like very clearly Close is doing Faker things for Golden Guardians. He is so heads and shoulders above most of the competition, but FBI is right there with him. Like he feels like 2015 Bang as sort of a factor of change world champion to LCS playoff team, and that's sort of like what you're seeing here, right? Like this guy is actually popping off.
I would say it's actually Jensen. I think that CoreJJ, is the Faker not just of his team but of the league. CoreJJ has been absolutely dominant, but he is making plays. Who is the guy that is following up? Who is the guy that is always doing well in lane? Who is the guy that is always putting out huge amounts of damage in team fights? It's Jensen. Jensen has been such a rock for Team Liquid, and I think quietly has been a huge reason that Team Liquid has been so successful. You see him very rarely getting caught out. You always see him, performing. He may not be the guy that is actually individually dominating and taking over the game by himself. He's more of that follow-up type of player, I feel like, this split, but he has been so damn good at it. And TL, as a result, over these last couple of weeks, they're not even having remotely close games against the lower tier teams, right? They're just being able to always dominate because, yes, of the leadership of CoreJJ and the initiation of CoreJJ, but also because Jensen is always there to have the slam dunk when he gets set up for the alley-oop, right? And I think that he has been really, really good throughout this whole split.
All right, Kien, you get to close us out before we head to break.
I want to give Phreak props real quick for the closer Faker comparisons because that's literally what is happening.
No, I'm sorry, we don't do that here on this show. I'm sorry. So with that,
hey, good job, Dash. That was really good mute.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Phreak. Here you go. Have 100 points as we head to break. 2,300 points stands Phreak in last place currently. Kien at 2,500 and Azael just cresting 3K at that 3,100 mark as we hit the halfway point of Lane by Lane. We're going to go to a quick break. On the other side, though, we'll figure out which one of these guys is the smartest. Welcome back to Lane by Lane. We are halfway through the game at this point. Azael way out in front, 3,100 points to his name. Kien at 2,500 in second, and Phreak 2,300. But if I know Phreak, he can make some stuff happen on the back half of this. Let's dive straight in.
Can we make him lose some points for those that dab? Did you see that?
Did he just dab and I missed it? Thank you for calling it out, Azael.
Yes, keep
me honest. That's like what? That was like 5 dabs. Maybe I said, oh my god. All right.
I'm having to watch this. Someone needs to pay.
Okay, question number 5. Which jungle champ makes you think, so if you're in a game, which jungle champ makes you think when they enter your lane, I can 1v2 this? So you're the one in this situation. You're getting ganked. What champion are you not scared of coming out of the jungle?
Ooh, I would say like Volibear and just champions that like basically don't have a lot of outplay. You know, they're kind of just like slowly walking at you. It makes you feel like I could do something here. You know, I could make this happen. Like I could kite out this Volibear. He's not going to get to me, especially after the nerfs. Volibear is actually a lot slower with that Q. So it's kind of making you feel like, hey, maybe there's some ability to outplay, right? He's not going to put enough damage. Maybe I can burst down my 1v1 first, and then I could deal with this tank later. I could kite him out. I could run away. It's usually those kind of champions, because I already know if it's like an Elise or something, I'm just one shot. So I'm not getting out of there.
No hope. No hope there.
All
right, who's
Azael,
the
it
next
is the
answer?
exact opposite of what you said. If there's no outlet potential, that stun is guaranteed, the damage is guaranteed, and you cannot 1v2.
Kite him out,
It's gotta be a skill shot champion like Karthus. It's gotta be dodging the Skittles. It's hopping out of range of the Defile. You gotta be able to outplay to win the 1v2. Like, I know I play it kind of a potato MMR, but like, if Volibear just walks you with Q, like that's gonna hit, right? You're gonna take damage, you're gonna lose, not just ganking you because you're 13-0, gonna kill them both in the first place. So it's a lane, it's a gank that has skill shot potential, you know, dodge the Nautilus hook, dodge the Aphelios Q, dodge the Karthus stuff, you know, get in there. That you gotta be a skill shot champion. That's what it's gotta be.
The Aphelios jungle.
First
of all, you gotta watch out for those ganks.
All right, Kien, get in here.
I always think I can 1v2 this as a mid laner. I think it's important to have that mentality going in the lane. You can't have respect for the enemy. And I know that back in the day, for us boomer players, you used to have to call your role. So I did have to play jungle back then, and I was the Lee Sin one trick whenever I had to jungle. So I know that Lee Sin is one of the easiest champions to outplay, because if you are not playing well on Lee Sin and you miss your Sonic Wave, you are a minion standing there. Sometimes you shield and you have to run away. And Lee Sin is also a champion that I think a lot of people know how to play against. Like if Volibear or Set comes at me, I'll be honest with you, I don't know all of their abilities super well, so sometimes it throws me off guard, but I know exactly what Lee Sin can do. And I've been in that exact situation where I'll gank like a Renekton top or a Darius top, and they'll turn around and they'll start throwing up their fist and be like, all right, let's go, buddy. And at that point, you know you screw up. When the guy starts hunching down and start getting ready to fight you, it's like those videos where a cat is chasing a mouse, and then a mouse turns around and starts like biting at the cat, and the cat runs away. I am that cat when I play Lee Sin and I run into somebody who's not afraid of me.
Okay, so here's the deal. You gave me a conditional gank setup. You said when the Sonic Wave misses. So, given that we're going for a coin flip on your 1v2, I'm going to flip a coin here. If it comes up heads, you get 500 points. If it comes up tails, it came up tails. I'm sorry, my friend.
I get 500
You're going to lose 500 points. You just lost that 1v2, my friend. Lee Sin just ganked you. Sorry, Phreak. Go ahead.
I couldn't dodge it.
Can I get his point? Can they go to me? I'm going to dodge the gank. I said skill shot champions. I literally gave the answer he gave.
There you go. There you go. Here you go, Phreak.
So
I don't think it's ever going to be enough for you. You've dug such a hole in this one. I think we could just flood you with points.
Just dab a few
times. Should have stopped at one dab, Phreak.
Just dab again. Just dab a few times. Just dab again.
All right. Next question. Who is the most improved player this split? And we're talking strictly from spring. So take spring performance through summer performance. Who's the most improved?
You know who it is? It's Aphromoo. Aframu, I think, has been fantastic, on a very poor team throughout this split for Dignitas. I think that Aframu, over the last couple years, last couple splits, really since his MVP season, have been downhill for him. He was getting a lot of criticism. I think he's worked very, very well with Johnson. I also would like to say that as a support player, it is incredibly hard to look good on a losing team. You are the one that has to, put your body at risk, getting vision, initiating. It's not as though he's playing all enchanter supports. He is throwing himself into these fights. He is not running it down, which is very difficult to do when your team is always losing. And Aframu, I think, has been a big reason why we have also seen the improvement of his lane partner, Johnson. His veteran leadership, and despite the fact that they don't have that many wins, they still are sitting at like 3-4 in the second half. And I think given with what he's working with, he's doing pretty well.
All right, let's go to Kien next.
I think the answer that you gave earlier, Azael, in terms of Huhi, I think is actually the answer for this one as well. In the spring split, he was splitting time with a guy you might remember called Keith McBrief. If you are ever in a situation where people aren't sure if Keith McBrief as a support is better than you have a lot to work on. Like Reddit threads, everything after people would sit there and be like, oh, okay, maybe we should put Keith McBrief back in. They were actually winning when that was happening. However, you have not seen any calls for Keith McBrief. With all due respect to the boy, you have not seen calls for him this split, which means he has been playing really well. I think he
has ascended beyond the McBrief.
Yeah. People forget that he used to be a mid laner at this point because he's just completely reinvented himself. I personally thought his career was over when I saw the lane swap. I did not think it would pan out, and then especially after the Keith McBrief benching situation. But I think what he has come to do and kind of claim the spot as his own has been extremely impressive. I've been really, really impressed with seeing how strong him and FBI have been. You could say that they're the best bot lane in the league, and I don't think that's a completely outlandish claim.
Wow. All right.
So the answer
Strong
really
is
obviously Blap. I mean, it's Team Liquid's jungler here, Broxa, and it's not even close. Okay, what was Broxa doing in the beginning of Spring Split? Like, it was like he was invisible. I didn't see him in a single game for the first couple of weeks. Farming, clear. But even when he did show up into the games, he was objectively horrible. Like, he was bottom of the barrel in basically every stat for all of Spring Split. It was abysmal. Team Liquid got 9th place. It was horrible. And then here he is in summer where he's doing a whole lot better. He's in the first place team now. He's a core part of that one. Look, he's not the carry. I'm not saying he's the best jungler this split, but the man was abysmal in spring, and he's really good in summer.
All righty. All right, boys. We are all within that 4K range here. We got 4,100 on Phreak, 4,600 on Azael. And after that last answer, which made me cackle, Kien moves into first with 4,900. This will be our final question here. So for all of the marbles, move over, Jat. Which current on-air talent would make the best LCS coach?
Dash! It's of course Dash. The answer is Dash because Dash, listen, all right? You can do it all. You know how to, here's the thing. This is not even a troll answer. You know how to finagle, like, highly skilled people with egos to have them work well together, all right? You gotta work with Mark and Prawley and Crumbs. These all washed up NA talents, and yet you still make them look good on camera. What do you think the LCS is washed up talent looking good on camera? It's just the easy answer. You know how to work with what you got. You bring out the best people. Dash, you are obviously the right answer. You give the right amount of positive feedback when they need it. It's perfect.
Yeah, how do I do it? Every time. How do I do it? I don't know. Azael, what are you thinking here?
Well, so besides the literal world champion, I've lived and breathed esports for over a decade. I know what it takes to win at the top. I lived with the EG StarCraft team, saw what it took for those guys to practice, playing with some of the best players in StarCraft 2 at a pro level, watching them train, learning the ins and outs of the game. I have been really, I've dedicated my entire adult life to esports. And this is something that, I'm extremely passionate about it. I think it's definitely exciting that Jad is getting to do it. I know we've talked a lot with him. Kobe and I always would talk about, what are these teams doing? Like, they should do this, they should do that. And it's pretty cool to see him kind of getting a swing at taking the reins. I'm interested to see how he'll be able to do over the next couple of years.
I love myself, but even I know I can't stack up against a literal world champion. So Azael still in command of the board here with 7,200 points. Kien, you get the last shot at stealing it all away. Which on-air LCS talent would be the best LCS coach?
So before I saw Phreak and Azael answer, I wasn't entirely sure as to what I would say. And then Phreak's fine display of ask history showed to me that he would be the perfect coach to take over, because in this profession, you have to be good at massaging egos. And we just watched one of the finest displays of ego massaging I have seen in the last year from Mr. Phreak himself. We also know Phreak is a very high elo player. Playing bot lane, he's like on he's always talking about
is a relative
things,
term,
like
but sure.
Yeah.
He's high enough. Where he can be. Yeah, it's good enough possession. We also have the idea of
I'm enjoying this.
people, and people like, if as a player, I don't care if you get mad at me as much. It's when you get disappointed at me. That's when I feel really bad. It's like when you expect something better out of me. Phreak has really put that branding forward. The split is don't disappoint Phreak. So I think teams, when they play and they know Phreak is casting, they sit there and like, oh man, we really got to actually do something, or Phreak's going to flame the hell out of us this game. And if he was your coach, you would also be in game knowing that. Like, you would sit there, you'd be like, oh, he's going to say we haven't done anything intelligently proactive if we don't go for this dragon right now. So Phreak is really getting in their heads with this already. He's already laid the groundwork for the coaching.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that would be chilling to the bone to have Phreak say to your face, you're doing nothing intelligently proactive. I fear that feedback every day in my career from Phreak. Well, with that, Kien is declared our winner. 7,400 points on Lane by Lane. He out-ass-kissed the ass-kisser in Phreak. Well done, my friend. As is tradition on this show, you get 30 seconds to boast, vent, say whatever you want, while these two shut up.
First of all, I would like to say congratulations to you, Dash, for the successful launch event yesterday. I'd also like to say congratulations to Azael for his successful move. And Phreak, I am sure you did something worth celebrating, but I do not know. And finally, I would also like to show a shout out to Mortdog and the TFT team for creating TFT Set 3. I've been playing a lot recently, and I feel like this is the best set that they have produced. It's been really fun to play. I'm on the cusp of hitting Challenger again, so if you're looking for tips, make sure you give me a follow.
Well, Challenger
Don't
in
worry,
Lane
Kien.
by Lane.
Phreak doesn't know what he's done. We're celebrating either.
What I love
Lane by Lane. I have a moral victory here.
That's true. You did.
I won twice in a row.
Phreak always finds a way to win this game.
You did lose like
It's
7,000
the most
points in
frustrating
dabbing.
Yeah, he did. He both gained and lost more points than anyone else won. Well, Kien, it's impressive. You're the first person to take their 30 seconds to gloat for everyone else and not for yourself. But thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your victory, gents. Thank you for playing today. That's going to do it for Week 9's Lane by Lane. Enjoy the LCS, which is coming up just after this.